Okay, so number 9, this is asking us to actually sketch the graph. So as I look at this, I see that y is not squared, but x is squared. So I know this is going to be a y equals ax squared parabola, which means it could be like this or like this, depending on if a is negative or positive. Because that's negative, our hunch is that a is going to be negative, so it's going to be a sad face. So let's do what we did in class. We're going to start by multiplying. See, we need the a snuggling up to the squared x stuff. That's just the way it is. So we're going to multiply by negative 1/12. We're going to flip it. So we get y plus 4, because this times this will just cancel and make a 1. And then this times this will be negative 1/12 x plus 1 squared. Now this was good in Algebra 2, but in pre-calc, we're going to subtract 4. It just looks a tiny bit different. And then we know what to do with the vertex. Left 1, down 1. Left 1, down 4. Left 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because this is negative and this is a fraction, we know it's going to be down. It's going to be kind of wide. A whole number will make it narrow. A fraction will make it wide. So we're going to make it wide. And we also see that it says be sure to label all the appropriate parts. So there's the vertice right there. And to label it, we would say that would be negative 1, negative 4. So that's the vertex for right there. Focus, we need to know what the letter C is. We're going to get that from here. Remember, you can ignore the negative because A equals 1 over 4C. So my A is 1/12. So 1/12 equals 1 over 4C. And I can just look at this and say 4 times what is 12? That'd be 3. That means I need to travel 1, 2, 3 units down below the vertex to find this. So 3 units below this would be negative 7. So my focus would be negative 1, negative 7. This is negative 1, negative 4. And then my directrix would be 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. It's right there. And that would be y equals negative 1. And there's number 9. Okay, number 10. This is an ellipse. We can see that because of the plus equals 1. So we're going to find the center first, which would be 2, 1. So we're going to go 2 to the right, 1 up. And what I like to do is kind of draw my own extra y-axis and my extra x-axis. There it is. And we're going to build off of that point right there. That's our center. So that's 2, 1. So now we know that we're going to take the square root of this because that's a squared. A is always bigger than b squared. So b squared is 36. So a is 8, which we're going to travel along the x-axis, 8 units. So if this is 2 to the right, 8 would take us to 10. And 8 would take us to negative 6 to the left. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those are the vertices, because this is the major axis, because I see that a squared is bigger than b squared, and this is connected to my x-axis. So these are my vertices. So this right here would be 10, 1. And this right here would be negative 6, 1. Now the foci are going to be found with this formula, a squared minus b squared equals c squared. A squared is 64, b squared is 36. So we would get 28 equals c squared. So we go bada boom, bada bing, do the right thing. And this is the distance we must move from the center to the left and from the center to the right, which means this is going to be the adjustment to my x value. So it's going to be 2 plus or minus the square root of 28, comma, 1. Last problem. Difference between this and this. You can see this was a plus. This is a minus. So we know this is a hyperbola. Also, because it starts with my x squared, we know it's going to generically or generally look like this. Because remember, these are the Pac-Men, and they're going to be eating my x-axis. So with that in mind, we can see that the center, because there's no shift there, no shift there, we know the center is going to be 0, 0. That makes our lives a lot easier. And now we're going to make our hyperbola box because a squared is 16. So I'm going to take the square root. That means a is 4. That's the distance I move in the x direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I see this is my b squared. So b squared is 4. Take the square root, which is 2. Which means I travel along the y-axis 2 and down 2. And now I'm going to draw this in. And there we go. Drawing those extra long diagonals. These are called your asymptotes. And because we know our original thought was they're going to go this way and that way, we know it's going to, here's our vertex, which is going to go here and here, here, and here. So what is that point right there? Well, remember we said we traveled 4 units to the left. So that would be -4. Oh, I guess they're not asking for the vertices. They're asking for the foci and the asymptotes. Okay, so the asymptotes, we didn't really talk about it a whole lot, but that one right there, we got to talk about the slope. So remember, the y-intercept would be 0. So if I get into this a little bit and talk about this orange one, remember we're gonna try to find the y equals mx plus b for that. But we already know that the y-intercept is 0. Our slope is up 2, right 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2/4, which would reduce to 1/2. So this would all turn into y equals 1/2 x for the orange one. Now for the pink one, you can see that the y-intercept is the same. It's still 0. So y equals mx plus b, we know it's 0. So we really just have to find the slope. So from here, I'd go down 2, and then I'd go right 4, which reduced to -1/2. So the other one would be -1/2 x. Now as far as the foci goes, that's going to be out here somewhere and out here somewhere. So I need the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared is 16, b squared is 4, so that's 20 equals c squared. So I take the square root, and again, pre-calc, for some reason, just let you guys go a little bit. You don't need to break that down. But from the center, it'd be the right square root of 20, left square root of 20. So they're just going to go plus or minus the square root of 20, comma 0. Now I did fail miserably to finish this one up here. It does say sketch it, and I just didn't. So I need to finish this a little bit. So I went 8 this way, 8 this way. Now b squared is 36, so b is 6. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it would look like this. It's going to look a little bit like a circle because it's not perfect. That's not bad, okay? So there it is right there. And you don't need to label exactly where the foci are, but that's generically what the ellipse would look like. And that finishes up Unit 5 test review. Good luck on your test.